Hello everybody, thank you for coming to Curve Right Ranch. My name is Richard. I'm going to give you a little bit of help today when it comes to canning. I know there's a lot of people who've never pressure canned. Now I'm going to give you a little example why I'm doing this video today. My property, Curve Right Ranch, is near the town of Seligman, Arizona. Now Seligman had an issue last Thursday morning where a semi-truck driver drove off of Interstate 40, went over the road, and ended up taking out a power pole, which also took out the power lines to feed the town of Seligman. There was a lot of people that were on the Facebook groups because they didn't have power. And some of the comments that I saw were kind of, frankly, I'm trying to think of the right word. Basically, they were saying things like, well, maybe the people who live off-grid should loan their generators to the people in town who don't have power. Why would you loan a $700 to $1,000 generator to somebody you don't even know that wasn't prepared themselves? It's one of the big issues of the prepper community that we have to take into consideration is that if people don't prepare enough themselves, in a situation like this where you're without power for 48 hours, what would be happening if the power was out for, let's say, a week or 2 weeks? There are people who are on oxygen generators. They should always have a generator or another power supply. You have restaurants and businesses who rely on the power to run their payment terminals, their gas pumps, their freezers. You know, they should obviously have a backup generator for their business. And this is also along Interstate 40, which means with that accident, there was literally a traffic jam the freeway was closed for a day and a half. Barely any way to get around. So the real issue here is preparedness. You don't want to get caught with your pants down. Now, what I'm doing today is I'm showing you one of the best ways to make sure you don't get caught with your pants down. A lot of times, and mind you, I'm new to canning. I've only been doing it since Christmas. But since Christmas, I've managed to put away about 3 months worth of food. I have a meal on my shelf every day for 3 months if I need it. And the best part is, the food actually tastes better. Because all that pressure is infusing those flavors into the meat. I did a batch of green chili with garlic beef yesterday. I'm going to be canning that up today. I'm also going to be teaching them how to make another thing that really Athena, my dog Athena, absolutely loves. And that's kind of making your own homemade dog food. It's really not that hard. Now, I went to the store today and I grabbed, out of my favorite little bin, the 30% off bin, USDA Choice Beef Carne Picada. Basically, it's beef chunks diced up smaller than, let's say, stew meat would be. And I got 2 of these. Like that. I also grabbed some yams because she actually loves sweet potatoes. It's one of her favorite things to eat. And if you're making your own dog food, it's actually very, very good for the dog. Now, I'm going to show you this. This is a T-Fal 22 quart pressure canner that I bought off Amazon and was about $100. Now I'm going to show you how it works. Real simple. There is a seal on the inside of the lid. There is a little thing that pops up and securely locks. You can see it right there. It securely locks the lid once it's closed and the pressure starts coming up. Your knob here has 4 settings. Your vent, 1 which is equal to 5 pounds, 2 which is 10 pounds, and 3, which is 15 pounds of pressure. There's also a pressure gauge on here marked 1, 2, and 3. Now in my area here in Phoenix, I need to be at about 10 psi. I typically do 11 or 12 psi. And how you control that is you run it on vent for 10 minutes, let the steam vent until you get a steady stream, and then you're going to close it off to level 2. When you close it off to level 2, what's going to happen is the pressure inside this is going to increase and your gauge is going to start to rise. Once it gets to 2, it's going to keep climbing but start venting out of here. If you want to, what I usually do is I found a sweet spot on my stove. I just turn the temperature down to where it stays steady at about 11 psi. And it vents every once in a while when it needs to. And then you run it for the allotted time that you need to run it for. Now, inside the pressure canner, it also comes with 2 of these spacers. So you have one on the bottom, you can put on your pint cans, and then set this on top of that, so you can actually have more pints. I typically do quarts, so we're going to leave that out. Then what you need to do is you need to add water to it. So we're going to reach over here to the sink, and we're going to grab some water. Really, really very simple to do. I know I'm not on camera, but I got to get the water. So we're going to do 1. I typically put in about 3 quarts, sometimes 4. So we're going to go 2. There's 3. And then one more should be just about perfect. Okay, so we're putting in the 4 quarts. That gives us the water we need. Now, yesterday, in my crock pot, I made up the green chili. Well, it's beef with green chili and garlic, and I cooked it in a crock pot. So I have all the juices in the can. I also have a can of the juice itself. And we have 2 more here. And it is cold. Now what I'm going to do is can up some yams and sweet potatoes with some of this meat. So, pretty simple with this stuff. Now, if you're doing it for dog food, you don't want to put garlic or anything else that's going to hurt the dog. What I do is I put about I call it a half a jar maybe. And you can use ground beef, but because of 30% off, it actually comes out cheaper than ground beef right now. So we're going to do that. You can see it. I've got cans here. I'm filling them up. Not really sure how this video is going to turn out because I can't see what I'm recording. You know what I mean? So we have 2. And I place the camera in a different position. So I'm going to back this up a little bit. See if maybe we can get a little better view over my way here. filler so I don't get the rims all dirty. So this is how you make dog food for the dog. With the price of dog food these days, you can't afford to buy canned pre-made stuff. It's just garbage anyway. I don't know how many times I've seen recalls on it, stuff that were killing your dog. But we're just gonna fill these up with this meat. Grab a knife. And we're going to start dicing up some sweet potatoes. And of course the usual, leave an inch of headspace, blah, blah, blah. If you don't know what headspace is, it's basically the distance from your top of your jar to where the top of your filling is. So we're just going to dice it up. And we're going to try to get this whole one in there. Yes, I cleaned the counter. Alright. Alright, there's one. And all we're going to do is shove it all in there, into the jars. Okay. Pretty simple, isn't it? That's kind of interesting. Looks like a bug got inside that one. I ate. All right, we're almost there. Okay, so now we have 4 jars. Have vinegar. Grab a little towel. And like everybody else, wipe the rims. I'm sure this isn't the first video you've watched. Now the best part is this is actually pretty tasty stuff. I mean, we all like sweet potatoes and we all like beef, or at least we should. And we're just gonna put some more in there. We'll put some lids on these. So we have 1, 2, 3 of the big. And there's a small. And I need the rings. Okay, and this will hold 6 quarts, which is in there now, so I still have 2 more to do. I'm also going to do some just sweet potatoes and some regular potatoes. We're going to move this back over this way now. And take the lid, put it on, twist it, and it locks in. Make sure you have it on bent, and we're turning it on high. And in about 20 minutes, the pressure will be built up. We'll start venting, and once it vents enough, this will pop up and lock the lid. That's when you can turn your knob to whatever pressure setting you want. And then just watch your gauge and monitor. Because this is beef in here, there's meat in here, these will be cooked for 90 minutes. Anyway, that's a quick lesson on how to use the T-Fal canner. And hopefully you enjoy it as much as I do. Ah, damn, move, dog.